I'd just like to say before I get into my testimony, we are fellowshipping with you. We're not just singing for a concert. We're singing for God. God is the main reason we're here. If it wasn't for God, I don't know how we would get here. And I don't know how I would be here as well. I was born September 16th, 1990. I was supposed to be born in December of 1990. I was 3 months premature. I weighed 1 pound and 13 ounces. I was literally this big. My dad could fit me in the palm of his hands. Many didn't think I would live, but yeah, here I stand. 7 years later, my father passed away. I didn't know my father long, and I didn't understand as a kid, being 7 years old. But as I got older, growing up without a father really impacted my life in more ways than what I can tell you. 7 years after that, my mother died when I was 14 years old. That's when it really hit me hard because I was a mama's boy. My mom was everything to me. My mother was just amazing. I still remember that night more than any other night in the world. I was up late at night watching TV, acting like I was asleep on the couch because I didn't want mom to catch me awake because I wouldn't got a whooping. But I was acting like I was asleep, and she came in there and tucked me in, kissed my forehead, and said, "I love you." I didn't know it then, but those would be the last words my mom would ever say to me, is, "I love you." Those words really impacted my life. I love you. 3 simple words, but they mean so much. For a long time, I struggled because I never did say those words back to her, even though I knew that she knew that I loved her. But it really brought me down into a very deep, dark depression stage. And all I would do was cry, sleep, wake up, cry, sleep, wake up. This went on for months. And one night, I have no idea what time it is. All I know it was late at night. I woke up. I went to the kitchen. I grabbed a pen, a piece of paper, and a knife. I went back to my room and I locked the door. And I wrote a suicide letter. And I put it on my bed table. I was done with life. I took the knife and I put it to my throat. I was done with everything. All this pain, all this hurt. God took everything that I loved away from me. So why continue on with life? That was the logic I had. I could end this pain right now. I could just end it right here and right now. But this is how I know God can work in less than a second. A thought came across my brain. And that thought was, what if everything my mother taught me about God was real? That thought changed my life. I was lucky enough to have grown up in church, in a family that loved me, and a mother and father who would pray over me. And that was the beginning of my healing process. I don't remember much. All I remember is I dropped the knife and I cried. I cried and cried and cried. I don't know how long I cried. I just know I cried. Sometimes that's when God speaks to us the most, is when we cry. When we are utterly speechless for words, and all we can do is just cry in His presence. God can do amazing words. And God will never leave you and never forsake you. Even in your darkest times, there is always hope. That's what I want to leave you tonight. There is always hope. And one of the most ironic things is my name. I didn't know this till about like 2 or 3 years ago. And my name, Joshua, which means Jesus saves. Jesus saved me when I was born. He saved me when I was going to commit suicide. But He ultimately saved me upon the cross. Jesus saved my life so many times. And I want to leave you guys tonight. There's always hope. Never give up hope. You can make it. I promise. Like, if you have to come at me and scream at me, slap me, do whatever you have to do to get my attention. But if you ever need to talk, I'm right here. I'm sure your pastor would love to talk to you. Family members, anyone would want to talk with you. But there's always hope. There's always peace. And most importantly, there's always love.
Praise God.
Love is always there. And I just want to say I love you all. Thank you for allowing us to come fellowship with you all. And I hope you enjoy the rest of our concert. Thank you so much.
Amen.